Because so many were trying marijuana without any ill effects, the public demanded to know more. And for the first time, the federal government approved scientific testing.
The plain fact is that none of us know very much about this drug in any verifiable way. Well, Bill, it's been about 2 hours since you got the drug. How do you feel?
Fantastic.
Have you ever met that funny reefer man? Have you ever met that funny reefer man? If he says he swam to China, wants to sell you South Carolina, then you know you're talking to that reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? Oh, that funny, funny, funny reefer man. If he trades you dimes for nickels, he says watermelons are pickles. You know you talking to that reefer man. Or have you ever met that funny reefer man? Oh, that funny, funny, funny reefer man. He smokes a reefer, he gets high, then he flies to the sky. That funny, funny, funny reefer man.
Defiant? Not at all. Businesslike? Not at all. Sheesh. Friendly? Extreme. They sound ridiculous.
Would you be interested in taking part in a study like this again and having the same type of drug?
Sure.
You would. It's been a very pleasant experience for you.
I'll do it anytime you want.
Do you think it would be...
Any time at all.
Do you think
Just
it would be...
call me any time of the day or night.
We found out that the drug makes people happy, it makes them intoxicated, and finally makes them sleepy, which is about what marijuana users were telling us happened all the time.
It says right here that alcohol does more harm to your nervous system.
Stop reading that underground trash and pay more attention to your homework.
All that drivel they talk.
Hey, last call, folks. Drink it up. Oh, it's nice to see you, Bob. How's the wife, huh? Kids are okay? Good. That's swell. Let's drink to tomorrow. Hell, let's drink to tonight. Hell, let's drink.
I know what you want. You want to kill me.
I don't think that a kid should have their entire future career blighted by having an arrest record for being caught in a room where marijuana was kept, or for smoking a joint of marijuana when they're a kid in college or a young kid. And that's exactly what happens.
Everyone here seems to emphasize the kids. How can you communicate with them when they got flowers in their ears where they can't hear, and hair down to their hip pockets?
The young person, other minority group members have a much greater chance of being arrested and are arrested. And if this continues, we're going to decimate the youthful population of America. That's exactly what's going to happen.
If any one of us has a kid who's arrested, there's going to be an arrest for a narcotic violation on his record for the rest of his life. He can't go in the Peace Corps, he can't teach school, he can't be a cop.
What's the difference if he committed murder? He'd have an arrest record.
Fine, if he committed murder, he's harmed someone.
Why do you smoke marijuana?
It's really very simple. I smoke it because I enjoy it.
It doesn't worry you that you're breaking the law?
Sure, it worries me. I mean, it worries me because I don't want to get caught. I do not want to go to jail for something that I can consider a pleasure and harmless to both society and myself. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not hurting myself. Why should I be punished for it?
Can any law be effective, especially a law dealing with marijuana, when there is so much controversy from so many eminent people?
No law can be effective that actually that tries to regulate or legislate private morality. You can't make homosexual laws effective. You can't make. Could you pass a law that says it's a crime to masturbate? You couldn't enforce it. There's laws on the book that say thou shalt not fornicate either, and you wouldn't go around arresting kids for fornicating. I know you law. You don't even know it's against the law. You're a hell of a
law, as a matter of fact. Sex is illegal in most of America.
Everything's illegal in America. You know, it's illegal, immoral, or fattening. It's that simple.
I think we've come to somewhat of a conclusion here in that the law is not very effective.
No, it's not. How can it be effective when you have 10,000 kids in one city are being arrested in 1 year? The law is not effective.
$6 billion, $7 billion, $8 billion, $9 billion.
Marijuana is probably the most dangerous drug in America today.
Many of us are concerned that a large percentage of our young people are breaking the law by smoking marijuana. As you know, your own White House conference, youth, voted to legalize marijuana. I know you've thought about this problem, and I wonder if you'd give us some of your thoughts on it.
Well, that's a fair point. As you know, there is a commission that is supposed to make recommendations to me about this subject.
The recommendation of the Commission in its first report is that we do not feel that private use or private possession in one's own home should have the stigma of criminalization, that people who experiment should not be criminalized for that particular behavior.
The Presidential Commission's report on marijuana found marijuana use in and of itself did not cause crime. Current laws against grass led to selective prosecution, and the police were suspected of using these laws to arrest people with objectionable hairstyles, skin color, or politics. The enormous cost of trying to enforce laws against marijuana overwhelmingly outweighed any deterrent value of these laws. The Commission had conducted the most comprehensive and highly publicized study of marijuana ever done. Furious, Nixon tossed it in a wastebasket without ever reading it.
Mr. President?
Okay. Whenever you're ready. I shall continue to oppose efforts to legalize marijuana.
Doing the exact opposite of what was recommended, Nixon declared an all-out war on drugs. suburbia, smoking pot had become the in thing for middle-class adults, sort of like having a martini at happy hour.
Fry over a low to medium fire for about 5 minutes, stirring to avoid burning. Let it cool a few minutes, then grind it into a powder. Now you can do anything you want with it. Put it in ice cream, butter, milkshakes, Jell-O, or put it in honey and freeze it into squares for later.
I'll do it anytime you want.
Do you think it would be...
Any time at all.
Until recently, the use of marijuana was considered a youth phenomenon, a thing of campus protests, the counterculture, long hair. Well, not so in the 70s. Meet some of the criminals at large.
I've spent a lot of time with my daughter and her friends, and they all smoked marijuana, and so I had to try it.
The drug makes people happy.
I first used pot back in the latter part of 1968, and have used it since then with some degree of regularity. I had some pot earlier today before I went down to court. I smoke at home, smoke at parties, in many places. To me, it's a question of the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, who owns me?
Last year in this country, there were 226,000 marijuana-related arrests. And although the police sometimes tell us that they're only interested in the pusher or the seller, as they say, the fact is that only 7% of those arrests were against the seller. 93% of those arrests were for possession and use. Now, what that means is that there were about 200,000 young people in this country last year who were given an unnecessary criminal record and all that involved for the rest of their life simply because they smoked grass, something which is a relatively harmless thing to do. So we're not trying to encourage the use of the drug. In fact, we're trying to discourage it. But we're trying to get the country to understand that there are other means to discourage the use of drugs other than the criminal law. And in this case, the use of the criminal law causes more harm than the drug itself.
The FBI claims that a huge shipment of grass, which they are calling killer dope, has been smuggled into New York City. The Bureau urges users not to smoke the weed, which is greenish-brown in color, not particularly seedy, and contains mostly cannabis buds. Warning symptoms are a mild euphoria, a slight rise in the pulse rate, some hallucination, and death by laughter within 15 minutes of ingestion.
Leading medical researchers are coming to the conclusion that marijuana, pot, grass, whatever you want to call it, is probably the most dangerous drug in the United States, and we haven't begun to find out all of the ill effects, but they are permanent ill effects. The loss of memory, for example.
This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Just say no.
Just say no.
Sure.
If what you see and hear in this picture will keep one of you, only one person, from taking that first step, our purpose has been accomplished, and we are humbly thankful.